Hello and welcome. I'm Clarissa. Thank you so much for joining me. And in this video, I'm going to be doing a relationship synastry analysis for Kourtney Kardashian and Aries Scorpio. They are at the moment the current rock relationship goals. And so it's going to be really interesting to get an insight into their relationship. And so for those who don't know what a synastry analysis is, it's when we take the astrological imprint of each partner and we bring them together to see what intention and influence they have on each other. So this would mean that we're looking at them from an astrological point of view, and everybody has their birth chart. So we bring their birth charts together, and in that it creates a conversation about how they influence each other, how they affect each other, what they project, what they reflect, and what they create together. There are other astrological charts that we could have a look at, especially at the composite chart, which creates a focus on what their actual relationship does. So it treats their relationship as its own entity, something they create together. Almost like when you create a child together, then that child has its own personality based on the influences of both parents. So a composite chart can do that. But for the sake of this video, we're going to be looking at the two as individuals and then bringing them together. How do they influence each other? What is their intention for each other? And then this speaks about consciously and unconscious. So it's the things that we carry and then we bring together, and it's the things that we want, the things that we open up in each other. And this again is really reflective of how we deal with relationships. We see each other in each other. So this is, we're all reflective of each other as human beings. So this really helps us to have a look at what we do in relationships and where we like to take things. How do we identify with each of each partner in their synastry, and how do we create solutions? How do we get inspired? Let's get inspired. Okay, so let's begin. So what we can see from Kourtney's chart is that she has a sun in Aries, and Travis is a sun in Scorpio. And so what really is good about their charts together is that although Travis is a Scorpio, he has so much Aries energy. He's a stellium in Aries. And so with Kourtney's Sun and Mars in Aries, this creates heat. So initially their relationship is based around Aries qualities. So we're speaking about identity, we're speaking about will, power, drive, battling whatever life brings at them. And so there is an understanding that the little battles around them actually help their relationship, because it gives them more meaning. It makes them bolder, it makes them stand stronger in their identity together, because they're creating an identity together at this point. So it helps them to stand stronger in their identity. Without the battle, it can become a bit, well, what do we do? So, and what's interesting is before I had a look at the charts, Kourtney's chart especially, I didn't realize that she was an Aries, because she doesn't really come across as an Aries from what we see of her. But maybe that's contrasting to those others in her family. So you only see in things, her Aries qualities in things like, really standing strong in what she says, what she means, and defending herself. You do see her defending her beliefs, and she's always seems to be the one that's in a challenge with others, like her sisters, for instance. But because she's got moon in Capricorn, this makes her quite grounded. So this could be the parts that we see, because she's got moon in the 11th, which is our collective experience, and our experience in our community, what the outer experiences see rather than the intimate family. So friends and things like that, and extended family and things, what they would see, and they would probably view her as more of very Capricornian type of energy, which is a bit more, it's more subdued than Aries energy. It's definitely got the same force. When I see a Capricorn and Aries, they are very similar. It's just they have very different ways of going around to the goal that they both have. They both have this goal to reach, but they do it in very different ways, whereas Capricorn is quite methodical with things and Aries just like, let's go. So what's really good about the relationship together is that Travis would bring out Kourtney's Aries side a lot more. And because what else has kept Kourtney subdued is because she's got the Chiron in Taurus, but it sits in her second house. So this is a conversation about value. And this is where she could have sometimes felt undervalued, not feeling her worth in situations. It's a reoccurring conversation with the wounded healer, the Chiron. And so, in her life, she's had to have these reoccurring situations, recurring instances where she's got to, almost showed I am valued in certain things. I see my worth in certain things, but it's continuing. Because opposing her Uranus, it makes her rebel against, if I'm going to be seen this way, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to have ingenious ideas around it. I'm going to use it in a way that, it can be celebrated and can be, connect with those who feel similar to the way she feels, almost like she's from this family, powerful family, but she still feels in her own ways, undervalued. So how do I take this experience and create ingenious ideas from it? And because her Uranus in Scorpio, where conjunct Travis's sun and his North Node, this is really good because she has these ideas, and there's an exploration. There is this. He sees the rebellion in her and he brings it out, but she also helps him to see a more meaning in who he is as well. It helps to understand certain things, can challenge some of his mindset, and do things differently. They both have Uranus in Scorpio, but just at different degrees. So they both understand, the electricity in sexuality, I suppose, because Scorpio is a very deep, intimate sign. Small talk and so superficial doesn't cut it. There is a need for depth and emotional exploration. So they will definitely have this emotional exploration here. He will be unafraid to talk about his depth with Mercury in Scorpio. I think she's probably had to open him up, because where her sun is, it sits on his Chiron. So it sits on his wounded healer conjunct. So she highlights where he's felt pain. She understands it because, it's almost like a shared experience in terms of this. It's a reflective situation here where they understand the wounds in identity, because she shines the lights on the things that he's been through. This is where they really can connect. He can speak about the things. There's an openness that he can have, and how it's the challenges that he's had. And she is a problem solver, so she can create solutions for him. So it's been, it's really, really interesting. We can speak more about the moon and Mars interaction that they have. So Travis's moon is in Aries, and Kourtney's Mars is in Aries. So again, a lot of heat, a lot of passion. There's just a lot of movement, and this is why things, with them move fast, because Mars is in its own sign here. This is, a real directive. This is moving into things and, learning as you go along. It's more about the experience that they have together. It's more about how can they go on this exploration of identity. They're definitely wanting to. They understand this, this duality identity that they have, but they also, because they are very, very much in the Aries energy, they also have to have their own individuality. So as much as they have this mirroring effect, and bringing out the drive and the will, and the almost like as proud of their, becoming more and more proud of their identity together, there also has to be individuality in their relationship. And with the Sun conjunct Uranus, and then also Travis has his Uranus sitting in the same energy. There is a conversation about, remaining, having to understand and depth, and loyalty together, but also space. There is a need to have their own space in things. There is a need to seek their own mini adventures, because then they can come back and continue to be stimulating to each other. These are the type of people that, especially Travis, he's very independent thinking. He's because he has most of his Aries energy in the 10th house. We're talking, he's been able to cultivate his own identity without, just is on his own, with his own drive. And so for him, having a duality in a relationship, it's really good. He likes, because he's very nurturing as well. He's got a lot of Cancerian aspects, but he's very nurturing in terms of love and in terms of his partner. But he does definitely need space. He's almost got like a warrior type of spirit, where he's got to go out there and challenge beliefs in the world, and then he comes back and tells the stories. So Kourtney, in this sense, she's a little bit more contained. She still has her own conversation with being free and having space, but she's more contained, and she's more bound to her routines than Travis is. And again, both of them very, very family orientated. Another thing that we can speak about is Travis's Lilith in Aries. And although it doesn't sit on top of Kourtney's Sun, it does speak to her Mercury, and is very much near her Venus in Pisces. So this really creates a conversation about, encouraging her to live her wild side. Live the side that, being a bit angst, not taking any mess, just following her own passion, her own desire. It really wakes this up in her. And, this is parts of what he wants to see, in the feminine. He wants to see the angst in the feminine. He wants to see you have that bold woman that, strives to conquer, her deeper whatever it is, issues, or she goes out there and she sets an agenda to just clear everything out the way. So it is really, really good. So it's not the easiest relationship. There has to be, again, space, compromise. There has to be communication, because they come from very, very different mindsets. Although what we see is them blending together really well, they do still come from very different mindsets. So there's a lot of compromising about how to develop emotionally with each other. Because what I see so far is that Kourtney loves the way he loves her, loves the way he encourages her. It's tenderness. It's it's this encouraging, pushing forward, motivating, really putting her on a pedestal. She loves this because it helps her to feel valued, the value that she hasn't felt with other partners. And so there also has to be this reflective part of it as well, understanding that she is more, she's kind of a bit more homely, I suppose, and he's definitely more out there. Although they do, because he's Sun in Scorpio in the 8th North Node, he does have the parts of himself that like to go deep. Like there's like a container. He likes the space of the underneath, these underneath conversations that no one would see, only this close circle and intimate. In the intimate parts, Travis can really go there, depth. Whereas it will bring out another layer to Kourtney. She will be able to explore this depth as well. It may be quite curious for her. And then also they both have Pluto and Libra. So there is this need to see transformation. There needs to be constant transformation in their relationship. development, and because it's Pluto, it can create an intensity around their transformation. So it'll bring them into situations that make them challenge themselves, challenge their beliefs, and you know, having to compromise, having to understand each other's points of view, as well as having the goal to move forward together. This is always going to be very, very, very good for them. Yeah, let's see what else. Yeah, I also think Kourtney likes Travis's intensity. You know, he's got Pluto, there's a loose conjunction here, but he's got Pluto conjunct Venus on the IC. So again, there is an intensity about him that he projects onto his partner. So he creates challenges within Kourtney that she has to, you know, change her perception sometimes, or change the way she does certain things. But yeah, and again, this goes with her want to, you know, feel valued and within herself, and not just her environment. This is an occurring thing for her, where she has to meet experiences that she can, you know, if we don't go through these experiences ourselves, how do we know what to feel, and then to express to others, to say, oh, okay, I recognize that feeling in you. This is how I can help you with this situation. This is part of Kourtney's journey, you know, to be able to help others see how they can be valued. And this, for her, it doesn't even have to do much. This is just like an outward experience. This is just something that she creates in her journey. So let's see what else there is. Also with Kourtney's Sun sextiling Travis is Mars here. This creates a really good harmony as well, because you know, Mars is, for Travis, is in quite a nurturing space. He gets you know, the feminine energies. He gets the things that women go through, essentially, and parts of that is reflected in Kourtney's ability to do the things she does and how she does it, and understanding where her just where it comes from, understanding where that depth comes from, where the need, what motivates her, what fuels her. He really gets this, and this is a really good indication for marriage as well. Again, because of the Aries energy, this is where it just powers through. They have this depth together. They have this understanding that they've got to go through like certain challenges, especially the past. It's almost they've got aspects that carry baggage, you know, the conversation of baggage with them, and it's almost as though they've got to meet these challenges continuously along the way, because especially when you have children, you realize that we're literally connected for life, regardless of whether we're together or not. You've got children together, so you're connected. So what is the conversation you're going to have throughout life? So there is, you know, some continual challenges that they have, but it also it can just highlight the sensitivity for both of them, where they need to be more open, more transparent with each other. Again, there is a lot of depth in their relationship, and they can create this container of supreme understanding and compromise. And so I think that's what jumps out at me just looking at their chart. Oh, yes. Okay, so thank you so much for being here. And if you've enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, and share. And if you've got any questions, please let me know. All the details will be in the link below. And I hope you enjoyed it. It was fun. I'll see you later. Bye.